It's funny. All right, Earl. Let's switch gears, talk some football.
Let's do it. I don't know what happened to the mic, but
This
next segment is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kicks, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed to Fit. Only available to U.S. customers. So we got about, 19 days before the entire team is together for Cleveland Browns training camp. And we haven't really touched much on the Browns lately. That says it's been a lot going on in the city of Cleveland. But I was curious as I was putting the show together today, for each of you, what player do you believe heading into camp is going to take the biggest leap forward, and what player can you possibly look at and say, this guy might regress a little bit?
All right, let's start with going forward. Jason, G, why don't you start us off? Player you're looking for a leap from this year?
I think it has to be this was kind of tough for me.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of guys that's going to take another leap. And he played well last year. I think this year, JOK going to be a monster. Like, I think JOK is going to be he took a step. You know, Bull is a guy that he needed to see it in a couple of years. You know what I'm saying? I thought he had a great year last year. I think this year, when they start talking about the Browns defense, they'll mention Myles Garrett, as they should first. But the second player they will mention is JOK. I think the light bulb came on. I kind of compare it to, you know, even when I was younger, I didn't play football till I was like 14 or 15. And so I didn't understand, like, to be a playmaker, sometimes you have to dumb it down a little bit. You start thinking a bunch. You're like, it's a new position. Okay, I gotta worry about where the tackle is doing. Okay, let me deliver hands here. Are they double teaming me? And then after you start playing, and you get it. It slow down for you. Be like, oh, so I could just do this, or oh, this is what y'all trying to do to me, and it actually slows down. JOK, I think, when you watch it, they're gonna start pointing it out like, we need one of those. They're going to start saying, we need one of these linebackers that's like, used to be a safety. We used to be like, we could put it in a box, these hybrids. Before, hybrids never got drafted high because people didn't know what to do with them. People didn't know. Like now, it's perfectly good. When I was growing up, you had to engage with linemen, shed linemen, deliver hands and get rid of them. JOK, nowadays, they just say, oh, why would you let him touch you? Run around him. And he's going to run around a lot of people for a lot of tackles in the backfield. I think he's going to get even better than he was this year.
Jason, who's your guy?
Scares me to say this. I'm back in, baby. We're back in a relationship. Jed Wills, don't let me down.
Oh, my Lord.
Here's
That's
why.
Crazy.
Here's why.
All right, go ahead.
He's playing on his fifth-year option, and he's playing for his next contract. Yeah. I will take money as a motivation for anybody at any time. When you are staring at the type of payroll that he could be getting as a left tackle, if he has one good year, need one good year out of you, and you're going to get paid. Give me Jed Wills Jr.
You know what? That's a good point because he can be. It's either boom or bust. He can have a great year and be one of the highest paid tackles, or he could be terrible.
Yeah,
and be looking for a backup role. It's a big year for him.
I defended that man all last summer.
You died on that man's hill.
I defended him to you guys. You just kept kicking him and kicking him and kicking him, and I kept picking him back up, and that man let me down for the first few weeks. And then he sort of turned it around a little bit.
I do think he's the key to the season. Because if you can have a good left tackle and Deshaun ain't got to move around, that'd be huge.
Give me Jed Wills coming out having a big year. He's going to be motivated. He better be motivated. He's playing for his next contract. I will always take a guy playing on a contract here.
Unfortunately, nobody answered with the most important answer, and that's Deshaun Watson.
Because I don't feel that great.
Because if he doesn't progress, it's a problem. Another guy that you thought might have been there, Jerry Jeudy. None of us picked him.
Yeah, I thought about him.
My guy is Alex Wright.
So you didn't pick Deshaun either?
Yeah,
I thought you were picking Deshaun.
I thought you was coming with that.
No, my guy's Alex Wright. I really like what I saw from him at the end of last year. They've been trying to fill that second defensive end spot across from Myles Garrett forever, and all they've done is plug in one veteran after the next, after the next, after the next. And it's been a little up and down, that spot, over the years. They're looking for a guy who can really take command of that spot. And I think Alex Wright's got a ton of talent. And I thought he showed it at the end of last year. I thought when a lot of the other guys were going backwards at the end of the year, he was moving up.
He played well in that Chicago Bears game.
Yes, he did. And I think he could be a surprise double-digit sack guy this year.
Wow. I think he can start by the end of the year.
Yes, absolutely. I think he's got a chance to take hold of that other starting spot. So Alex Wright is my guy I'm looking to take a leap forward.
Who y'all think my guy is? Just curious.
MJ Emerson.
Nope. MJ He's all ready to go. But it's another DB. Honest to God, I think it's going to be Cam Mitchell. I think the corner we drafted out of Northwestern, who had a pretty solid rookie season, I think he's going to get more opportunities to show what he can do this year because, quite honestly, he has to. I think Andrew Berry has a decision to make when it comes to Greg Newsome in the long term. But I also believe that Cam Mitchell can be a quality slot corner for this team moving forward. I think he showed some flashes of a dude who can be a pretty solid NFL player. So for me, my player to take the biggest step forward is Cam Mitchell.
All right, good choices. But again, none of us picked Deshaun and none of us picked Jerry Jeudy.
Listen, it ain't even about hoping and wishing with Deshaun. You just like at this point, it's like you got to just we trying to see.
She said it better be.
That got to be on deck. If Jerry Jeudy and Deshaun Watson, they ain't balling, we in trouble. That's
right. All right, let's go to the guy worried about a slide. I'll start here. My original answer was going to be JOK because I am worried about a little bit of a backslide with JOK. Sure. But then I thought about it more, and I came up with actually two other guys that I'm more worried about than JOK. One is DeJuan Jones. I'm worried about him.
He was on my list.
You worry. He has money now for the first time this offseason. He's coming off an injury. I'm a little he was a pleasant surprise last year. I'm worried if he takes a step back before maybe taking a step forward the following year. And another guy I'm concerned about, even though it's only supposed to be one, I'm now picking two, Dustin Hopkins. Dustin Hopkins came out of nowhere last year.
That's a really good one.
To be he was one of the best kickers in the league. Kickers are flaky. They could be good one year. Kickers are kickers are kind of like relief pitchers.
Yeah.
You only got one or two Mariano Rivera's and Trevor Hoffmans. Everybody else is kind of up and down all the time. So I feel like we're going into the season assuming kicker is solved, and I'm a little worried that it's not going to be.
Not to mention he has a history of injuries.
Yes, that's true.
Prior to last year. It's part of the reason the Chargers moved on from him.
Yep.
And it's valid. DeJuan Jones, I always have a problem with someone that is really that massive having any injuries.
Yeah.
Joints are always going to be a concern with him.
Yeah, it's like half of it is bend. He's already bigger. I just even Jack Conklin, he's linear. I don't like linemen being hurt, but it's part of the game, right? Part of the game.
Are you going with DeJuan?
No. This hurt my heart to say. Nick Chubb.
Oh well.
Now it's Nick Chubb, right? But I've grown accustomed to seeing Nick Chubb do Nick Chubb things.
Right.
One of my worst nightmares is turning the tape on and he's just a back. You see what I'm saying? Turn what makes him great, he can run away from you, he can run over you, he has great vision backside, he can put his foot in the ground, he can go lateral, he can do a lot of different things. And what if he comes back and it's just he don't got
just
Jack.
Jerome Ford.
Oh, well, that's even that's crazy. That's wild. Jerome Ford is below that. Like, that's not Jag, below, like. But yeah, I mean, and how long do we wait on it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I'm tempering. I just don't like when people keep like saying Adrian Peterson. Like, Adrian Peterson ran for like 2,000 yards after an ACL. Like, that's just like a comet hit nerve. It don't happen all that often. Like, I just want to temper expectations.
That's fair. And I've mentioned Adrian Peterson, and to be fair, Nick Chubb's coming off multiple surgeries, not just an ACL.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jason.
Well, I hope you're right in your breakout with Alex Wright, a guy who's going to emerge, because my step back is Za'Darius Smith.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm surprised he's here still. I thought that they'd move on from him after last year.
The tape went out that great last year.
And he's getting up there in age, and I hope Alex Wright is ready, because I'm not sure Za'Darius Smith. I just don't have a lot of faith in him. He felt like a 1 year, you got what you needed out of him, get out before it hurts. And I'm not putting him in the Clowney situation.
Right, he's not a bad team.
Right.
Yeah.
But I felt like Jadeveon, I said it on the air, I think, like 1 year and go. Like, cut. You got one good year out of him. Take that and run. I kind of felt that way about Za'Darius. Take your one good year, decent. I don't even know if it was good. Decent year. Take your one decent year and get out.
Hey, man, when somebody try to make themselves over, always watch out. He came back with the cut. I said, oh. He's like, I need to get a little sleeker.
Yeah.
Remember when Clayton Tune was the quarterback for the Cardinals?
I do.
No, before I give mine, I kind of wanted to go back on what you all had to say. I think what Bull said about Hopkins is right. Like, this might sound crazy, but I think some things are psychological. K. York is back wearing number 36. What if he beats out Hopkins for the job? Like, would that be far-fetched?
That is kind of wild.
I don't know if it's far-fetched. I would be surprised if they cut Hopkins out of training camp, but you never know. I mean,
if K. York was a first, what is he, 4th round pick for a reason? Like, I mean, he got a skill set, right?
Kicker is outside of a couple of guys, kicker's a year-to-year thing.
Obviously, they feel very strongly about Cade York.
Yeah.
They drafted him. They wanted to bring him back after they signed Hopkins. He chose to leave. Now he's back again. I'm surprised. I wonder, he had to have other opportunities, you would think. I'm surprised he came back.
Yeah.
And what?
This was the worst stretch of his career was here.
Dang.
I'm surprised he'd want to even come back and revisit it. I think, unless Hopkins is just an absolute disaster and
he's going to be
preseason,
the starter. Yeah.
he'll be the starter.
I mean, that's like crazy. That's like, you know, in college, you just break up with your girlfriend at the bar because you saw this cute girl. And then you got the girl back. Like, yeah, I was just playing with you.
Yeah.
I was just playing with her.
Earl,
I got
who's
two
your guy?
guys. This is going to be unpopular, but I think the two guys that can take the biggest step back this year are Wyatt Teller and Joe Batonio. I think
Both?
age, either or both, to be honest.
That'd be a major problem if that happens.
I think age plays a factor in that. I know they both dealt with some injuries at a certain point last season, but also you don't have the same voice in your ear that you've had for the last 3 or 4 years. And so depending on, you know, what this new offensive line coach and what his philosophy is, if it goes against what these guys does well, it can hurt their performance. You know, they are getting up there in age. Durability is a real thing. Injury is a real thing. So there's a strong possibility that two guys who have been nothing but staples and producers on our football team for the last 4 or 5 seasons, they can start to take a step back. Now, with that being said, their level of step back might not be the same level of everybody else's. That's how good they both are.
We be hurt. I'd be hurt. I can't. Not both of them. One of y'all gonna have to hold up. Like, nah.
I mean, it's not crazy to think they both take a step back. I'm not going to vote for it, but it's not crazy. I mean, especially Joel's pretty old at this point.
They've had a lot of injuries. Both
of
them have had to deal with a lot of injuries. Even last year, I think they were more hurt than anyone realized.
In general, you know, for me, there is a question mark about the Browns' pass protection.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know yet how big a loss that's going to be.
I mean, they didn't play all that much together. To be truthful, Jed was out, DeJuan was out, Conklin was out early.
Yeah.
But Tonio and you know, Pochich and Teller, they were there. But I don't think pass protection is their strong suit. Like, they're not terrible at it, but Wyatt Teller would tell you is a better run blocker than pass blocker.
Yep.
I would say Batonio too. So for me, with a new passing attack that I think is going to throw the ball vertically, and Deshaun Watson scrambles around and he's off, I think, off schedule. I don't know if I would say off schedule, but he does a lot of running around and improvising. I don't know how that's going to look pass protection-wise.
Yeah, it's not crazy to think. Now, as you said, Earl, even those guys taking a little step back are still good players.
Right.
But you don't want to see, but what the loss of Bill Callahan, we don't know yet.
Correct.
And
That's why I was actually a little nervous to say Jed, because I thought the loss of Callahan.
Yeah.
But I just think money's the biggest
Mm-hmm.
motivator, even over good coaching.
yeah.
I do like the fact that I feel like Andrew Berry has at least attempted to get this team prepared for, either Batonio retiring or them moving on or Teller being, no longer a part of this team.
Well, they had to get
the last
younger.
couple draft picks.
Yeah.
They had to
No,
get younger
have.
at the guard spot, and they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have. And so I think that even if they take a step back, I do believe that this is the last year that we see both of them on the team together.
Probably.
I think that is accurate, yes.
Like with Zach Zinter, I'm really, really interested, Jason, and Luke Whippler, because we do know that Andrew Berry loves guys on the offensive line who can play multiple positions. And he showed that when he got his, few spot starts.
I think Zinter's particularly they're excited about,
Yeah.
and that guy's a monster. And Earl, I think you're right. I think this is probably the last year with Wyatt and Joel together.
Which the question is, who's gone? Is it? Do you think Joel can retire after this year?
I mean, 1 year is a lifetime in the NFL. I think
Yeah.
we have to get through the season and
Yeah.
see what kind of condition they're both in.
You know what I've always thought about, and this is messed up to say. It's not really messed up, but we don't never think about it. This type of player of just being done. Like I thought, Joe Thomas would play forever. I thought Joe had like 4 more years. Like he just felt like it was Thomas, but Myles Garrett just don't seem like the player that's going to be playing until he's 35 or 30, 33, 34. Like, I mean, he seems like he's like, yeah, I don't want to. I still want to be able to do some things. I do other things outside of football. He's such a freak of nature that I don't foresee him slowing down. But then again, I never foresaw guys like Calvin Johnson hang it up, and you'd be like, Barry Sanders just hang it up. And it's just like, I could see Myles Garrett shirtless at a podium being like, I just going to
see that too, Jason?
I don't know if he's going to play till he's 40.
Maybe he retires younger than you think?
He does have unique interests. He's a guy that I don't think he's you got to be careful when you say stuff like that.
Right.
I don't think he dislikes football.
I
just think he has other passions. Besides, like, football isn't his entire life. Mm-hmm. Some of these guys, football is their entire life. That's all they want to do.
Yeah.
I would agree. I don't put Myles in that category.
Yeah.
I do think that he has other interests in life. He's got his money. He's got his Defensive Player of the Year award. Mm-hmm. I'm sure he wants to win. And we'll see. I can't sit here today and say he's going to retire early, but he's one of those guys that I believe isn't just consumed totally by football.
I'm with Jason. I think that when you look at Myles Garrett, and I'm just assuming right now, I think there's a lot of passion there. But I also think that that's an avenue for him to live out his purpose, if that makes any sense. And I think that's what Jason was essentially trying to say. Like, he has other things that he might want to get accomplished, things that might be more fun or more important than football. And football is the avenue that he took first to, achieve his overall goal in life.
I think he's one of the dudes that if he like woke up one day and was like, this isn't fun anymore, I'm cool with it. I'm cool. Like, so my thing is, hey, capitalize while he's still in his prime. So time is a ticking.
That's right.